In this video, I'm going to step you through what GEO is, how it works, and how you can use it. We're going to talk a little bit about why SEO is now going to take a back seat. And more importantly, we're also going to talk about why GEO now and for the future, and why a lot of companies are going to take advantage of this opportunity that's probably going to close very shortly. So if you're a B2B marketer, this is a must-watch video. So let's get started. So let's jump right in and discuss why VEO is more than SEO. I'm Ronan Keane. I've been doing enterprise B2B marketing for 20 years, and I've spent the last 3 years deep in AI, covering all different aspects of it. I think it's really important that you understand how generative AI and these LLMs work. You need to get under the hood and really kind of poke around and really understand how the engine works. Okay, so today's agenda is the following. It's about how AI is growing. AI is disrupting the B2B buying behavior. If you're a B2B marketer, this is a must watch for you. Don't go away, stay and watch the whole thing. If you're someone who really wants to know more about how AI works, especially with search and now conversations, that's why I think calling it answer engines it doesn't give the whole comprehensive nature of describing the power of this and the future of this. We're also going to talk about GEO versus SEO. We'll talk about question research, earned versus owned, question types, answer tracking, and best tools. Ultimately, what we're going to answer for you is what is this thing? How does it compare or not compare to SEO? I think it's much more than SEO and will continue to really evolve into something much more sophisticated, especially for marketers. And then how do they work? How do these LLMs process information, language, and what does that look like as compared to SEO? Many of you are probably familiar with the concepts, and maybe you're hands-on practitioners as well. And then how do you actually influence the LLMs? How do you start getting included in the answers? So let's jump in, and I hope to explain all of that for you. AI is growing. Left-hand side chart here is month over month for the last year. It's almost doubled, not quite, but almost. Active monthly users, 838 just ChatGPT alone users. And then the market share on the right-hand side here. ChatGPT really is, the 800-pound gorilla. Gemini has a decent share. Perplexity and Claude have very small market share compared to the others, obviously. But the way things move and change and grow is really fascinating in and of itself. So all of these numbers may change. But right now, you want to optimize for all of these LMs, but ChatGPT obviously has the biggest market share. So I mentioned that AI is disrupting buying behavior. There's something called zero click where you don't get the 10 blue links anymore. Like for hundreds of years, we had these 10 blue links, for the last 20 years. Google, and we all fought to get to the number one or the top two or top three, or at least above the fold on page one of Google. All of that is really going away and is almost gone. And that's called zero click. It's now an AI summary and with some citations on the right-hand side. And you can expand the description. You've probably all seen this. Real estate for organic search has really shrunk on Google. And I'm going to show you an illustration of what that looks like. And people are now going through their own buyer's journey when they interact with an LLM. No longer do you just even ask the LLM one question and then you got to think about, hey, what should I ask as a follow-up? ChatGPT 5 now prompts you with another question. Hey, would you like me to do next step here? And so on. So ChatGPT is making it much easier for you to get the information that you need. That's obviously very deliberate on OpenAI's part. From clicks to conversations. A traditional search query was 3-5 words. Longer tail keywords were maybe 8-10 at max, whereas ChatGPT, the average prompt is between 23 and 25 words. I think more sophisticated users who know prompt engineering would easily be 100 plus words. We're just talking about your sort of very average prompt here. So Geo will far surpass search. Search engine optimization was about optimizing your website, technical content, getting your content structure right, really following all the PageRank rules to get indexed by Google. And with any luck, get to the top of page one for a search term. And that was sort of it. I'm simplifying it, but at the end of the day, that's what it was. GEO is a lot more. And people who say, oh, GEO is really just, smoke and mirrors. It's really AI SEO. I totally disagree. AI SEO is what it really describes. It's about using AI to game SEO rules, using it for writing content and other stuff. That's not what this is about. This is about GEO. And I want to read you this quote. GEO is now becoming how a brand ensures it's referenced in AI responses. And those prompts for those responses will continue to grow as user adoption significantly increases. But it's also how it manages its ongoing relationship with the AI layer itself. GEO becomes the system of record for interacting with LLMs. It's the practice, the discipline, and everything that goes into GEO, which can really influence LLMs. Today, there's a window of opportunity. I don't know how long that's going to be, but now is the time to get on board with GEO so that you're ahead of the curve and in front of your competition. Let me continue. Allowing brands to track presence, performance, and outcomes across generative platforms. Own that layer, and you own the massive opportunity behind it. It's about being part of the ongoing and evolving by. So AI services frequently start with a search. So you've got your traditional LLM. In this case, I use ChatGPT 4.0. It's trained a prescriptive set of data, and the model learned from that data. And if you wanted to search the web, you had to turn web search on. Now we've got LLM and RAG. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Simply put, you've got the data that the LLM has been trained on. Now you've given it the possibility of going out to the web to get additional information that it doesn't have within the data that it was trained on. So now it's able to go out, and I'm speaking specifically more about ChatGPT. It can go out and get information. And then what it does is it mixes all the information that it has, both internally and on the web, and comes up with what it thinks is the definitive answer. And then on the right-hand side here, we've got Google Gemini, which is next-gen search, right? So I mentioned the AI summary that you see in the left-hand side column of the last screen on the right. And then you've got the citation on the very right-hand side. And it can be YouTube videos. It can be Reddit, Quora community. So a lot of different content hubs are used to generate a final answer. So how does Geo work? It's, as I mentioned, it's a combination of LLM and RAG. In this diagram that I put together, it's pretty simple, right? So someone asks the question and enters a prompt. It goes to a search engine using RAG. RAG then retrieves lots of different pages. Then that data is then put into an augmented prompt. It's sort of like an internal prompt that the LLM uses. It's sort of analyzing all of the information. And then the LLM acts as a reasoning engine and summarizes all of the information that it has and then gives you the answer. So that's LLM and RAG. And why is that important? Because RAG is what now goes out to your websites, your content, online communities where you need to be, where your brand needs to be featured and mentioned. And we'll get out into all of that a little later in this video. But this is sort of the framework that you need to start thinking and how these LLMs work. I'm going to let you pause and read this. I'm just going to hit the highlights of this very quickly. SEO versus CEO. SEO, it's mathematical calculations. And Google uses ranking signals. It's got this major algorithm called PageRank, and there's lots of different ways that it weights different things. It looks at backlinks. It looks at your technical setup on your website. Are you using H1, H2, H3 headlines? All of that kind of stuff. RAG and Geo is very different. Ultimately, it's about having really clear, easy to understand content on your website that is formatted in a way that helps the LLM understand your content in a very simple and easy to read, analyze way. And So the goal for marketers with SEO was achieve high ranks to earn clicks from searches. For LLM, you want to be the source that an LLM cites when creating an answer. That's the bottom line, very simply put. And in ChatGPT 5 now, depending on your search, your prompt, a lot of external links to external websites, which could be yours and other websites. So Google is changing a lot, and sometimes we forget because we're in it all day, every day. We kind of forget what it used to look like. Google organic search results on a search page used to be like almost 100%. There were some paid ads at the top that were very small. That has radically changed. Ads are taking up huge amounts of real estate. In this example, this is a screenshot that I took, and I searched for best ABM agencies for B2B businesses. You can see how much real estate is taken up by ads. And then there's Google features right below that in this yellow area. Um, so you've got, different citation, different websites. And then at the very bottom, you've got organic links. So it has changed quite a lot. Google and Bing side by side in that same sort of framework here. We've got features, we've got Google and Bing products, we've got organic results at the very bottom in the green. Whereas ChatGPT, this will all start changing, I'm sure. But as of today, it's all like answers, it's all results, it's all conversations, which makes it very refreshing. And frankly, I think it makes the user experience and the conversations that you have much more sticky with users. And I think that trend, that growth is going to continue to grow. So a deeper dive into what GEO is. And this is a screenshot from Perplexity. In this case, the prompt is which top ABM agency works with manufacturing companies. We've got answer optimization and citation optimization. So citation optimization is how do you get your company and service and its features mentioned in third parties. And then answer optimization is how do you get it in the answer and favorably, right? In this case, I've optimized for the ABM agency. So ABM agency is at the top of the answer. And then, so the ABM agency is here in the citations, but then there are 3 third-party citations: Windmill Strategy, New North, and Single Grain. So you want to make sure that your information on your website is very clear, easy to index, and easy for an LLM to understand. You also need to make sure that your brand, your company, and your service is included on other third-party websites. And there are tools to do that, which we'll get into shortly. And answer processing varies by LLM. ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity, their models are quite different in some ways, and in some ways they're quite similar. The result is quite similar is what I should say. So ChatGPT 5 primarily trained on past data, but it uses RAG to search the web. So get mentioned, you want to be on trusted high authority sites with clear citable pages. Gemini 2.5, a little different, right? So it integrates Google search. It has the knowledge graph. So you want to boost visibility with EEAT, schema, and entity optimization. And then Perplexity still uses the Sonar family. It searches and cites the live web by default. So you need to win citations with fresh, factual, and SEO optimized content. So in this case, all 3 of these LLMs have produced the ABM agency in the top result. So answers vary by question variant. And what I'm saying here is you need to anticipate and make a log of all of the different variations of the questions that people may ask, and you want to make sure that these variations are in your content and that you're optimized for all of these different questions. So who are the best ABM agencies? Can you suggest the top ABM agency? Who is the best ABM agency for my company? Who's the top rated ABM agency? Which has the best rating? So you get the idea. That's important. Your content provide answers for all these variable questions. And then another way of looking at the questions, which are highlighted in yellow here in this spreadsheet screenshot, is by topic. So when you're writing and anticipating the questions and writing answers for, and I don't mean one answer for every question variant, I'm just talking about a comprehensive answer and context of your paragraphs and how you're writing. you want to make sure that it's topic driven. For LLMs like Google Gemini, anticipating keywords and keyword searches and then prioritizing them for your own reference, which I did here on the demand level side, is a good practice. But documenting all of this, making sure that your keywords are also in your content as well is very important. And then I put this diagram together just to contrast the way that we did search and the way it works today with prompting in an LLM. So yesterday, and I mean yesterday and all the days before that, was very getting research, doing really good research. You would go to a search engine, typically Google, you'd search multiple keywords, you might get the answer, but basically you use multiple keywords. You clicked links, you went to websites, you started gathering information from different websites, and you would eventually find an answer. Quite a slow and laborious process. Today, obviously, it's very different. You go to an AI answer engine, you ask a question, you get the answer, and then you have a dialogue and you're prompted with other questions and asked if you want other information, and then get more answers and you get more information. And you could spend 10, 15, 30 minutes doing this. And this is how this new framework and this new process for getting information is how it's why you'll hear that inbound traffic to websites is really falling away. It's getting a lot smaller. However, conversions on websites are increasing. So common sense would say, hey, I'm doing all my research on the LLM. And then when I'm presented with solutions, whether it's a service or a company, or I would then go to the company and convert and so on and so forth. So this will continue to evolve. And this is the world that we're living in now. And it's why you and your business need to use GEO to take advantage of this window of opportunity. So answers are influenced by earned and owned. So request a short list of agencies specializing in manufacturing ABM by company size. So again, the owned citation here is by the ABM agency, and then the earned ones are, in this case, businessage.com. So it's a combination of the actual service provider, in this case ABMA, and then a third-party validation as well. So, and then popular questions, news site, media, and social user-generated content. You're going to see towards the end in my key takeaways that you really need to focus on these communities like Reddit, Quora, comments and YouTube videos. YouTube descriptions, video, and less so Quora, but also G2 Crowd, because they all have authentic user-generated content. In G2 Crowd, it's about user-generated views, and in Reddit, it's people having conversations. So it's looking for authentic content. So it's striking a balance between your website, putting all of the information in a format that the LLMs can understand and process, and then present in its responses on. So how to earn mentions, tracking, identify the top citations, URL, not domain, outreach and relationships, start exploring outreach, and contacting people. It's kind of that sort of old way of getting backlinks, right? For SEO optimization. And then consider building an affiliate program for mentions as well. And, excuse me, and how to influence user-generated content and social, building relationships with social influencers. They don't have to be these super powerful, Mr. Beast type folks. They can be people on Reddit and Quora, right, who have started these conversations, and you might want to build relationships. This is not fast stuff. This is stuff that takes a bit of time. You want to identify key subreddits and question threads that matter for your money terms and are most cited in LLMs. You want to see which URLs this LLMs are citing. You want to make sure and that's where you put your focus and your work in. Reddit and Quora, you want to promote your brand very tastefully and organically. And then negative sentiment, if there are negative comments, increase positive conversation to push those down. And finally, more specific questions tend to cite service companies. So when people start prompting in, hey, give me the names of top 3 ABM agencies, good for implementing 1 to few campaigns, targeting enterprise accounts in the manufacturing industry, you tend to get results like company results or service related results. And in this case, you've got citation links to the ABM agency. Here it's to a couple of third parties here for this number 2 result. And then number 3 result looks like it's the actual company and a couple of other third party citations. Good content answers every question. So again, you saw the variance of those questions on a previous slide. You want to anticipate all of the questions or all of the bigger type questions that get asked more frequently and produce your content and format it in such a way that these LLMs can easily retrieve and produce as part of the answer that they give and cite your website. And then I get asked a lot, what tools should I use? I've looked at all of them. I use Radix. It's competitively priced. My recommendation to you is, of course, if money's no option, then just buy the most expensive one or, one of the most expensive ones. But they all kind of work more or less the same. These are all relatively new. These are how you're going to track, how you're going to find citations. These are the tools that you're going to need to measure your efforts and find those third-party citations. This reduces all the manual work from hundreds of hours to like a couple of minutes. At the end of the day, they all have different prices, but I would use the one that you're most comfortable with. So the key takeaways: GEO is the new SEO, but it's much more than SEO. AI is growing rapidly. AI chat is converging with search, and the Dev Day you might have seen. We're now integrating websites like Coursera, Canva, Uber. They're all being integrated into chats. So you need to get in front of this as quickly as you can. Don't sit idly by and let miss the opportunity, especially as a marketer. You want these quick wins. So start focusing on geo. Questions are topics. Group similar questions into topics. Focus on product service questions. Prioritize mid and long tail topics over your top of funnel stuff, also known as head. And then how to optimize own questions with your site, earn questions with citations. That's so important. It's a very simple way of putting it, but that's it. And then good content answers every question. And then you want to track your share of voice. That's your new metric. I'm offering a complimentary GEO report for your business. If you want one, email me at ronan@ronankeane.com. I'm happy to provide you one, and maybe we can have a conversation. Um, and then just a little bit more about me. You can follow me on LinkedIn here. I also have a website, and there's my email address if you have any other questions. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this of value. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. I'm going to be producing in-depth videos about GEO for marketing and marketers, how to grow your market share of your business. Seeing this on LinkedIn. Hit me up, follow me, ask connection requests. Happy to do it. And just shoot me an email as well if you've got questions or need more information. Okay, thanks so much.